Yeah. We're just skipping forward to November 2013. You made your first GUKPT main event final table, and you finished 6th in the grand final for just short of 26,000.
Yeah.
It was a long tournament. It was the one that Kev Allen went on to win for 150k.
Yeah.
Do you know much about it?
So yeah, we just played in Blackpool the week or two before, and my friend Mike, who I used to travel around with, Mike Thomas Ziggy, he'd got a result. He'd come second in the £300 side event, so he'd won a seat, because back in those days in 2013, if you won a side event anywhere in the country preceding the grand final, you would automatically get a seat into the main event. So Mike had won that, and I'd done well on the cash games in Blackpool, so we thought, right, we'll go to the grand final for the first time, I think. And we went down there, and on I think it was the Wednesday, Mike ended up winning the £250 six max. So yeah, I don't know if he got another seat into the grand final for that. Maybe you were capped at one. And I still didn't have my seat. But then on the Thursday, I played the £250 Omaha event, and I won that. Event outright. So I ended up getting the seat for the main event. And yeah, the main event was crazy. It was weird, the main event, actually, because I was on the same when I bought into the main event on that. I was on the same seat number and table number as my birthday. Now, I always thought it was always just a bit. I was always just a bit like superstitious about that. But actually, on my table towards the end of day one I had Mustafa Kanat to my right, who I didn't know who he was at the time, but I just remember him completely outplaying me in one hand and thinking, who the hell is this guy? But he wasn't well known, Mustafa, at this time. This 2013, he would have sort of been still struggling to get like a big result. And two to my left, I had Bryn Kenny.
Yeah, it gets easier then.
Yeah, so these guys were. I ended up winning a big pot with Bryn. Where I had ace king and he had queens, and I ended up getting two big streets of value on a king board. But yeah, I just sort of survived day one. I think I ended up bagging about 90,000. And day two, day two was insane. I think probably up until recently, or like I think it's my favorite ever day of poker. Like, it was just insane. Like, I ran 90,000 chips up on day two of a GUKPT into 1.58 million or something, and it was just absolutely insane. Like, I was just going and going and going and going, and yeah, everything was coming off.
Awesome. Must have been a great final as well. Obviously, Kev Allen won it. One of the nice guys around the tables.
Kev's a great guy. I love seeing him at every start.
And March 2014, we make another final table, this time in Manchester. 192 entries. You finished 4th to 15,000. But first three, Simon Dedman, Steve Warburton and Rhys Jones. What a final four to start with. But as soon as you bust, they just decided to chop it up.
Yeah, I think that there was even. I think Carl Marenholtz and a couple of other good players were on that final table as well. Like, pound for pound, at the time, it was the most insane GUKPT final table ever. Yeah, that was an incredible one. Simon Dedman was someone that I was really, really, really watching at this time as well. I really admired him, and I think. In my opinion, he's the most complete GUKPT player, the best GUKPT player ever, just because, I mean, his record would be right up there. And I just used to watch him and learn a lot from him. And his attention to detail and stuff was really, really good for me to sort of use him. Like he used to know what I was thinking before I was thinking it as well. Like I'd make a big bluff or something, and I'd go to up my cards, and I could see him looking out of his corner of his eye, and he'd have a little smile on his face, and he'd go, "You were bluffing there, weren't you, Richie?" And he just knew every single time. He just knew, and I'd have to fake it sometimes and say, no, actually, I had that one time, like, because otherwise he'd just be able to read me. Like his focus was absolutely in a different league to anybody else's.
Well, the following week, the form just continued because you went to Sheffield, played in the GPS, 400 entries, second. And this time you chopped it with James Parker and the one and only Mr. Alli Mallu.
Oh, wow. Yeah,
what's it like playing against the Mallu?
Oh, well, this final table was really, really difficult to navigate because Alli Mallu was on my left, I believe, and he had all the chips. So anytime I'd raise a strong hand, like ace 10 suited or something, you just go, oh, I'm all in. Like I couldn't do anything, and it was horrible. And I think the stacks. I think the stacks when we got to 300 to 3 left were something like Ali had 8 million, I had 1.3 million, and the other guy had 700,000. But it was getting late for Ali, and he was just like, yeah, I'll take this. I'm gonna get off home now. But special mention for Ali. He back in the day in the GUKPTs when I used to first following them around. Like no matter where the festival was, he always used to win an event, and it would always be like he'd take first, and the rest of the final table would chop. It was remarkable.
the only person I've ever heard who took more than first place prize money, and the rest chopped it apparently.
Yeah, it doesn't surprise me. He used to have everybody strangled.
In 2014, it just continues for you. In May, you booked your best score so far in the UKIPT High Roller. It was a 3,000 entry, and you chopped it with Dave Shallow for 68,000. Did you play for the trophy, or did you just chop it then?
No. Well, the final table. Yeah, me and Dave ended up with all the chips heads up. And I'd never played with Dave before. I think I'd played with him a little bit online. But yeah, he had slightly more chips. And I just said, yeah, let's chop it, and you can take the trophy because you had slightly more chips, and we ended up getting an even chop. So it was a pretty good deal for me on him, I guess.
Yeah, we've been a 3K entry. There were only 101 runners. Was it yet again one of these events was just a tough field?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, there was less sort of recreational players in there, but I think the sort because I'm sort of used to battling with strong players online. Or at that time, especially like 2013, 2014, I was sort of my game was sort of online poker at sort of high stakes MTT. So my game was designed to play against that sort of player. Like I used to struggle a lot against recreationals, exploiting those. But like at that point in time, though, that sort of suited me, the high roller circuit. So especially live. So in DTD, particularly in the high rollers over the years, I've actually got a really, really good record. So yeah, but yeah, the pound for pound, there was some great poker players in the field.
Yeah, September 2015, the closest you'd been so far to taking down a GUKPT main event when you finished third in Luton to the eventual winner, Mr. Will Davis.
Yeah, that
frustrating.
Yeah, very. Well, I say very. I came back from day one with not many chips, and then yeah, day two. Day two. It was the one where we finished day two where we weren't in the money, wasn't it? And I was overnight chip leader going into trouble at the start of day three. So yeah, I was a little bit. I ended up going into the final table with the most chips, or one of the most chips, but I played a little bit cagey, to be honest. I was a bit disappointed in myself. I was being a little bit cautious, but yeah, I mean, third place is still pretty good.
following the next GUKPT main event, November 2016, we went on to Blackpool, where you chopped it with. Now this was I think this was a chop where everybody watching the table thought, you know what, this could either go on for one hand or 17 hours. You chopped it with Middy and Tom Hall.
Wow, yeah, that was a pretty tough spot to be in three-handed in the GUKPT.
It was a great final. Can you remember much about it?
Yeah, I think it was a really, really good final, actually. I think there's plenty of action and there's a good mix of characters. Yeah, I think Middy put me in a couple of horrible spots where I had to find the trigger against him early on as well. And then yeah, I'm just trying to think. Yeah, it was tough though, three-handed, and we sort of came to a conclusion that we didn't really want to flip for thousands and thousands of pounds. And Tom was off to play another tournament. He had a flight the next day, and we sort of deduced that Middy's advantage of having the extra chips, we'd just give him the trophy. So yeah, I think we were all pretty happy with that one.
Yeah, I remember Jeff Kimber being fourth. It wasn't a bad final to be on, I tell you.
No, yeah, it was remarkably the year after. All four of us who finished in the final four made day three as well.